By the name of Almighty God, the most compassionate and the most merciful, I welcome you all to your own channel. By the way, today we have our this week question. I think it's number 6. We have got a function like fx. This function is given. Now, what is the question? The question is that in which point or maybe points the function is discontinuous. And we have this greatest integer also. First, we have to know what this one is. The greatest integer function. The condition is given that this greatest integer function should have this condition: equal or smaller than x. What does it mean? It means if we have, for example, y, the integer function of the x, the integer function is defined like this one. First, what does it mean? It means, for example, in here we have 1, in here we have 2, in here we have 3. If we have 1, the answer is 1. If we have greater than 1, up to 2, the answer is 1. If we have 2, the answer is 2. If we have the function greater than 2, up to 3, the answer is constant 2. What does it mean? It means if I have 1, now the answer is 1. If I have 1.5, the answer is once again 1. Why? Because the 1.5 is located between 1 and 2. Whatever we have between 1 to 2, the answer is constant 1. If we have 1.9, the answer is once again 1. If we have 2, now for 2 we have the answer is 2. But if we have 2.1, then the answer is once again 2. It means if we have n, now the answer is n. It's right. If we have smaller than n, it means n from left side. The answer is n minus 1. Why n minus 1? For example, if we have up to 2, the answer is 1. It means, what's the difference between 1 and 2? We have n minus. If this one is n, then this one is n minus. If this one is n, number 3 is n, the answer is n minus 1. Can you get this one? Also, if we have n positive, the answer is once again n. Why? For example, we have 2. N positive is greater than n. Now the answer is once again n. If we have real n, fixed n, the answer is n. If we have from left side to the n, then the answer is n minus 1. Now, by this idea, we can solve our question very easily. Okay. What do you think about this continuity of the function? We should compare LHS with RHS. LHS with RHS. What does it mean? It means left hand side and right hand side limits should be compared. For LHS, we can write limit x approaches to a number. The number should be integer. Now, you can select one integer from minus infinity to the positive infinity. For example, suppose n. N is an integer. First, we include n which shouldn't contain 0. We select a n from integer which is not equal to the 0. Now, for the LHS, we have n minus for this function x cosine pi x x. Now, how can you solve this one? You have to put instead of x, n. What is the left side for the n? It is once again n. Cosine pi, the x, instead of x, you put n minus. N minus, it means from left side of the n. It's once again n. Plus, but when you put in here n minus, now this is an integer function. It means smaller than n. Now what is the integer of smaller than n? It is n minus. N cosine pi n plus, it's n minus 1. Now we have n cosine pi n to n minus 1. Now what do you think? It's an odd number. Cosine odd of pi, it means cosine 3 pi. Instead of n, you have to put, for example, 2. 2 is 4. 4 minus 1, 3. If you put 3, 2, 3, it's 6. 6 minus 1, it's 5. It means this is an odd number. Odd pi. Cosine of odd pi, it is minus 1. Cosine 3 pi, it's minus 1. Cosine 5 pi, it's minus 1. Now, minus 1 times n, it is minus n. Now, left hand side limit, it is minus n. Now, come to RHS. Limit x approaches n from right side, x cosine, we have the bracket pi x plus the greatest function of the x. Now you have to put instead of x n positive. N positive, the value is once again n. N cosine pi, instead of x n positive, it's n plus n positive. Now we have n cosine pi, we have the bracket n plus, what is the positive integer function for the n positive? It's n. What does it mean? It means if we have a number like n, n positive is greater than n. Now, what is the integer function for greater than n positive? It's n. What's the integer function for the n negative? It is n minus 1. Am I right or not? Yes. Now, we have n cosine n to n, 2n pi. Now, this is a even number. 2n is even number. If we have cosine even pi, what's the value? The value is positive 1. For example, if we have cosine 2 pi, it's positive 1. Cosine 4 pi, positive 1. 6 pi, positive 1. Positive 1 times n, it is positive n. Now, compare LHS with RHS. What is LHS? It's minus n. What is RHS? It's positive n. Are they same? No. It means left hand side with R hand side with right hand side, it is not same. If they are not same, if they are not equal, it means the function is discontinuous. It means this continuous. Now, the function is discontinuous and where? In n. What is n? N is a number which is not equal to the 0. It means you can select 2, you can select this answer, and also you can select this one. I mean, the function is discontinuous in every number opposite to the 0. Why? Because in 0 the function is not discontinuous, it is continuous. Why? Because if you take the limit of this one, maybe from left side or maybe from the right side, if you compare limit x to the 0 of x cosine pi x plus this bracket, now maybe from left side or maybe from right side, whatever this value is, in here we have 0. This value, maybe it's a number. This number times 0 for LHS also it's 0, for RHS it's also 0. It means the function is continuous for 0 but discontinuous for 2, 1 and minus 1. I think you have got it. By the way, Allah Hafiz.